people and other people. At one point, he has a cast on his arms. I can't even sign the ballot, and they're like, "I'll sign it for you." Here, they're like trying to sign the ballot. It's unbelievable.
That would be a felony offense.
And they're always trying to investigate me, as opposed to the problems that we are trying to investigate. This is not the only state we've done work in. We actually did it in New Hampshire, which is probably one of the biggest splashes we made. We focused on the dead. We just cross-referenced classifieds where all people are dead, not classifieds, obituaries, with registered voters. We found like 1,000 dead people. And we went into the polling locations and said their names. And this was a local news report in New Hampshire.
Of people at the New Hampshire primary, people using the names of the dead on purpose to get a ballot and to prove a point. Hi everybody, Maria Stefano.
And I'm Mark Ockelum. Tonight it's such a concern today. Now you don't hear now with the story, Ted. Mark and Maria, regardless of what people think of the tactics here, this is certainly an eye-opening investigation. It was conducted by conservative and controversial activist James O'Keefe and his group, Project Veritas. You may remember O'Keefe. He's the guy who made headlines dressing up as a pimp to expose colonization. And his people took undercover cameras and the names of the dead to polling places in New Hampshire. State law says you don't need an ID to vote in New Hampshire, and this video appears to show you may not need a pulse either. The self-described watchdog group Project Veritas placed again the names of dead people at more than a dozen polling places.
George F. I St. James Place, and you're a registered Democrat.
I've gotten a lot of questions here about how do you know where to draw the line legally? If you listen to the script, we said that's the address, that's the registration, that's the name. We never said we were the person. Yeah. But if I were to misstate something and just change the words, it'd be like a felony. So it's very dangerous work. You're treading a very careful line. But we were very careful not to cross that line.
Here's the Democratic ballot.
According to Project Veritas, they received ballots every time except one. But a poll worker actually knew the dead person. James O'Keefe says this shows just how easy it is for someone in New Hampshire to commit voter fraud.
In New Hampshire, I feel like this is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the voting system. At the very least, they should remove all the deceased people from the voter registration logs.
So, what was the reaction of this tape? As usual, the reaction is, to target me, investigate me, throw me in jail, blah blah blah. Always trying to blame the person who did it. But I want to specifically focus on a couple reactions from MSNBC, the governor of New Hampshire. Very entertaining stuff. First, there's this headline. Let me just pull it up here. This is the first reaction. The joke's over. O'Keefe's allies could face voter fraud charges. Nothing to do with the fact that ballots were being offered, dead people voting. That doesn't matter. It's just he's a criminal. Throw him in jail. It's obfuscation. They need to change the subject and make me toxic so that this news does. Remember I talked about the media? The media is everything. The media is everything in this country. You could expose something that's completely damning and corrupt, and they'll just call you a criminal. They'll put your face on the front page of the newspaper, and they'll call you a criminal. And believe it or not, it works. It worked. Yahoo News picked this up. The Wall Street Journal picked this up. They wouldn't touch the video. Did he commit a crime? Is he a felon? Well, I don't want to give a felon cover. Politician. I don't want to cover the felon. He's a felon. I don't want to be seen as providing a felon assistance. This is what they do, and this is how they do it. And it's very important you understand this, because you don't have to listen to them. You can, when this stuff comes out, you can get behind it. I just want to show that to you. But now let me show you the reactions, the really good stuff, from the governor of New Hampshire and Al Sharpton.
2 million votes, just one. So if in fact this man O'Keefe
He calls me
collected more than a dozen ballots in doing this film, he actually increased fraud in the state by 1,200% to try to prove problem that didn't exist.
Yeah, you don't prove that there's been voter fraud by committing yourself. He's establishing an activity that creates a voter fraud situation, and it's his own activity that should be looked at and prosecuted.
I should be prosecuted. This is like the third time I've been called to be prosecuted. This is like a dozen times they try to prosecute me, but this is important. Look at the reaction of Governor Lynch to local affiliate in Concord.
I think it is outrageous that we have these out-of-staters coming into New Hampshire, coming into our polling places, and misrepresenting themselves to the election officials. And I hope that they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, if in fact they are found guilty.
Listen very carefully again to this statement because it's completely ridiculous.
And I hope that they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, if in fact they are found guilty.
Again, you can't prosecute someone if they're found guilty. That's impossible. Second of all, every statement he just made is false. All the guys in the video were actually from New Hampshire, so they're not out of state. And third, we never misrepresent ourselves. And he's the governor of the state making these ridiculous false statements to the media. But these are the types of statements public officials make when you embarrass them. This guy, 6 months before the video, vetoed the voter ID law. Naturally, he's going to say whatever he can to deflect from that fact. And after this happened, let me go back to some headlines. This was the local reporter. Election law experts say that O'Keefe allies could face charges. It turns out this reporter, whose name is Ryan Riley, has a listserv of lawyers that he contacts, and he sends them emails saying something to the effect of, "Hey guys, I need to call this guy a felon, help me do it." And these lawyers provide him cover by creating a narrative. So this story got a lot of traction. Like I said, I'm a criminal, I'm a felon. No one can cover this story because it involves crimes. But there wasn't any crimes committed. There wasn't a single crime committed. And after this video was released, despite the media's attempts to, make this a non-story, the New Hampshire Senate passed the voter ID bill after the video, despite the attacks from TV. And just to as Saul Alinsky says, keep the pressure on, we went to the neighboring state of Vermont where the Attorney General did not have jurisdiction to issue a criminal subpoena on me. And we went into bars and restaurants and said that we wanted to order a beer, but we didn't have photo ID. I hear everywhere I go, everyone always tells me, it's amazing all the things that you require ID for. So we tried to put it on tape. What happens if you went into a local pub in Burlington, Vermont, and said that you wanted to get beer, but you didn't have ID? What would they say?
To show an ID, what would happen? You require a photo ID here?
Yeah, we do. I'm very sorry that I can't serve you without ID.
You don't care? That is racist.
I said I'm sorry.